the announcement of Universal Horror Unleashed in Chicago, before the Las Vegas location has even welcomed its first guest, has stirred up a flurry of discussion among fans and industry watchers alike. Universal's Halloween Horror Nights has long been a beloved seasonal tradition, celebrated for its limited-time, immersive horror experiences that draw massive crowds each fall. But with these brand new expansions into permanent year-round horror attractions, first in Las Vegas and now in Chicago, important questions are being raised. Are Universal stretching the brand too far? Could Halloween Horror Nights lose its magic? And a permanent haunt even sustainable over the long haul? Halloween Horror Nights began in 1991 as a modest scare event at Universal Studios, Florida. Over the decades, it evolved into a major seasonal spectacle, and is now at their parks in Hollywood, Orlando, Singapore, Osaka, and Beijing. Today, this seasonal event has an enormous global fan base, many of whom spend the off-season poring over speculation maps and reorganizing their HHN merchandise collections, while also counting down the days until opening night. So why has Halloween Horror Nights become such a cultural phenomenon? I think it boils down to a few key ingredients. Limited time exclusivity, which builds up urgency and anticipation, high quality theming and immersion. I mean, the level of detail in the haunted houses often rivals the industry's best dark rides. And then of course, the fear factor. The intense scares, iconic horror IPs, and live actors that create an experience the usual theme park experience cannot replicate. This perfect mix of scarcity, spectacle, and fan devotion has helped turn HHN into a touchstone event for horror lovers and thrill seekers alike. And in 2023, Universal announced a bold new direction. Universal Horror Unleashed, a year-round horror attraction set within Area 15 in Las Vegas, and scheduled to open in August 2025. In fact, as of right now, it's scheduled to open in just a couple of days. The venue will feature 400 houses based on major franchises as well as original ideas, and themed bars, restaurants, retail spaces, and live entertainment. This is a dramatic shift from seasonal event to permanent horror hub, and signals Universal's intent to grow its horror footprint beyond full festivities. And as already mentioned, before this Las Vegas location has even opened, Universal confirmed a second Horror Unleashed location, this one in Chicago and slated for opening in 2027. The city is backing the project with $7 million in incentives, and Universal predicts a potential $1 billion economic impact. Set inside the historic Tribune Center along the Chicago River, this venue underlines Universal's ambition to make permanent horror attractions a core part of its business model. And as a fan of Halloween Horror Nights, these expansions are undeniably exciting. But they also raise a critical concern. Could this lead to brand fatigue? A key part of what makes HHN so special is its seasonal exclusivity. Fans flock to it because it's only available for a short window each year. That limited run fuels excitement. Yet, as the event has grown, some fans have already expressed concerns that it's becoming too repetitive, recycling the same intellectual properties, similar narratives, and familiar scare techniques. Online discussions often echo the sentiment that some of the magic is fading as the brand grows and reuses content. Since its origins in Orlando, Halloween Horror Nights has expanded not just in scope, but in duration. The event now begins well ahead of Halloween and runs for an extended period. While this benefits fans who want more time to visit, some argue it dilutes the urgency. Add to this the fact that HHN merchandise is now available months in advance, sometimes even outside of the parks in places like Hot Topic, and for a portion of a fan base, the experience starts to feel less exclusive. Personally, while I'd prefer the merch to be a bit more limited, I don't mind the longer run. But even so, I remain skeptical about whether large-scale, permanent haunts can truly succeed. Permanent venues inherently lack the limited time appeal that gives HHN its spark. When horror becomes a daily offering, it risks becoming just another attraction, losing the intense event atmosphere that drives crowds. And Universal's venture draws inevitable comparisons to past attempts at year-round immersive experiences, most notably Disney Quest, Disney's indoor interactive park that ran from 1998 until 2017. Despite being in prime locations, Disney Quest never sustained strong interest, largely due to outdated technology and a lack of fresh content. Many experiences there eventually felt less impressive than what guests could enjoy on their home consoles. A similar risk looms over Horror Unleashed. If Universal doesn't commit to refreshing the haunted houses regularly, the novelty may well wear off. yet continual updates will come with steep operational costs. History hasn't been too kind to permanent haunts either. The Fear the Walking Dead survival attraction in Las Vegas lasted less than 2 years. Universal Studios Hollywood shuttered its Walking Dead permanent maze in 2020 after just 4 years, and before that attractions like Universal's House of Horror, Van Helsing Fortress Dracula, and The Mummy Returns Chamber of Doom were all eventually pretty quickly phased out. As of now, there's no indication Universal will return to permanent haunts within its main theme parks. And this is because year-round haunted attractions face several major challenges. Sustaining off-season attendance is pretty difficult, as guests often associate haunts with Halloween, so drawing crowds in spring or summer requires compelling content and marketing. And then there's the increased operating costs. From staffing to upkeep, running a permanent venue is not cheap. Then there's the location-specific dynamics of Las Vegas and Chicago. While Las Vegas's 24/7 tourist culture may suit this format, Chicago presents a very different landscape with its own demands and audience expectations. But that said, Horror Unleashed is not just another haunted house. Universal is designing these venues as multi-sensory horror playgrounds, with bars, dining, retail, and storytelling elements that encourage guests to linger. These social spaces may end up being the heart of the experience, encouraging repeat visits beyond the initial draw of the houses. Food and drink sales will also boost a key industry metric, spend per head. The concept's success may hinge on this broader, more experiential approach, but pricing and perceived value will be equally critical. If guests don't feel like they're getting their money's worth, or if the offering feels stale, interest could certainly fade. By bringing permanent horror attractions to cities outside of California and Florida, Universal is aiming to position itself as a global leader in immersive horror, but each market is very different. Chicago, for example, might benefit from partnerships with local conventions, universities, and seasonal festivities to drive weekday traffic. But Las Vegas, on the other hand, must balance the city's adult nightlife with a more family-friendly crowd that Area 15 attracts. Despite the risks, there are compelling reasons for Universal to explore this route. Smaller scale venues outside of its flagship parks could boost the HHN brand and expand Universal's reach. The model is similar to their upcoming family-friendly park in Texas. If successful, these locations could diversify revenue and reduce reliance on seasonal spikes. This expansion could also pave the way for long-desired projects like movies featuring HHN's original characters. Icons like Jack the Clown or Chance deserve cinematic spotlight, and Universal's recent attempts to revive its classic monsters haven't quite hit the mark. So maybe the future of their horror legacy lies in newer original icons born from the event itself. In short, Universal's move to transform Halloween Horror Nights from a seasonal event into a year-round immersive experience is a bold gamble. It promises new opportunities, but comes with very real risks, especially around brand fatigue and sustainability. The success of Universal Horror Unleashed will depend on whether Universal can keep the experience fresh, adapt to local markets, and retain the emotional intensity that's made Halloween Horror Nights so special. It's certainly a crossroads, one that could redefine the future of horror entertainment, or overextend one of the most cherished brands that Universal currently have. Time, creativity, and careful execution will ultimately determine which path they take. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Universal Horror Unleashed. Do you see it as the future of immersive horror? Or is Universal pushing the brand too far? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other videos, and the links in the description.